From the main climbers in here, I haven't seen Rathwell on the front much. Obviously Grossman, Langham, you know, the regular sprinters here so far, but it's been pretty quiet from a lot of these ladies out here besides those sprints, and it looks like they're all looking to hang on and wait for those final moments in the climb, because it is going to be absolute wattage cottage, pain cave reality out there today when we hit that climb.
Yeah, you'll be going so deep that scraping at the bottom of the barrel won't even really describe it. As we take a look at this group again in these 3 circuits here in Innsbruck, hosting the World Championships going back to 2018. We're going to see an absolute explosion. I'm going to predict that the winner of this race is alone when she does it here today and picks up that 40 points for the winner, 35 for second, 30 for third, and then we score that 30 riders deep at the finish line. So this is your chance to really impress a lot of folks, because if you could win out of this field, you are a world-class rider. I have heard through the grapevine, Nathan, that a couple of riders in this group, our community women, have signed pro contracts this year, this did not hurt at all in their getting recognized and really being on the radar of some of these team directors. A rider like Zoe Langham, and there's a great example. So I was right, 9 and 10. So those points won't be going anywhere. They can't take them away from her. She's got also, you can see the fastest through segment points there. Now she scored quite well in that for 49 total points. As I mentioned, I mean, Zoe Langham, just here in Innsbruck, Nathan, can get pretty close to what one of the top climbers is going to do on the QOM climb here. So Zoe Langham is doing a tremendous job of positioning Wahoo LaCole here, and also Karen Williams with that 8-7. Good job here by Wahoo LaCole. Clearly, they came in with a solid game plan.
I'm going to jump across real quickly here for the men's races. They do get out on course. This is going to be the start of the men's race here. As they take off, we're actually going to be in with Jean Brun, one of our community riders, who's jumping in and have a little bit of an idea of what his start is going to be looking like. He is over on Eaton Dirt Access as they get out on course. Let's see if we can actually find John. I'm seeing Electric Spirit CO here, but lots of riders, 130 riders, Dave, that have started out here today. Absolutely amazing participation here amongst the men for this kickoff.
Kevin Bouchard Hall there, who just qualified for the World Championships, a top 5 ride. That was such a fun race, Nathan, to commentate on. I don't know how fun it was to be in because it looked absolutely brutal as Zach Nair took the win. He wrote a great article in Velo News as well if you want to see what it takes. But there's a lot of really cool guys out in this group, and certainly they're going to be looking to make their mark in the world of esports here today. Same as really, Nathan, everything that we said for the women applies to the men here as well. The duration of the race, the importance as riders from all of the different divisions around the globe coming together. Most of them won't have raced against each other that much. I'm going to imagine there's some cross-pollination there. Not too many surprises, but this is not your regular day in the office. I'm a big fan of Mr. Brun here. John has been really, really fun to get to know in this community, and I love what this community is all about. Empowering each other, lifting each other up, having a heck of a lot of fun doing it. So the guys out on course, the women.
I'm loving John's story as well. Pretty awesome to see. He said one of the things he said when he asked to have the live cam in is he's actually made the Team USA at Worlds. Took 3rd place in the Continental qualifiers, which is absolutely awesome. He says he actually uses the broadcast to help his friends and family understand what is even happening and what he is up to. And I can kind of understand that and relate to him a little bit. Like, wait, there's people all over the world competing with each other live and their avatars, and wait, what? Like it's just kind of like this, what is happening in front of us now? And he really is excited to be a part of the broadcast. He said, racing this playoff race out here today. I'll be on the watch out for John. Now, John, though, I think, I'm not sure his climbing ability. We'll get an idea of his 20-minute, because I really think that's going to be telltale of where he'll stand at the end of the day. But obviously, a solid sprint on Brun, as that final kick to the line in the Continental qualifiers was nothing but really a smash fest when it comes to the sprinters.
Yeah, I completely agree, Nathan. As we take a look at this group, I have a feeling that the depth, though, just like in the women, you're not going to see a lot of riders getting dropped before we hit the finale. That last basically 20 minutes of racing up to the KOM and the finish line, where so many valuable points are waiting. But yeah, you can see flags from around the world as we're going to jump back in with the women. They're nearly 22 and a half kilometers into what is an absolute slugfest out here today. 37 and a little change of racing out here. But again, Nathan, you said it, that last 7K averaging 5%, the pitching up to 11% is where it's all going to be going down. You're either going to be punching your ticket into the Premier League or back in the community. But let's be honest, you're going back into that community with a lot of credibility, having made it all the way into the final round of these playoffs. I don't know if we'll have a chance, Nathan, to take a look at where the teams stand again, but they raced already, team time trial, a little over a week ago. This is the second part of a double bill for our team, the team time trial, which is based on really where this all started in the world of esports racing with WTRL. That was the first segment, and now we're into our points race out here today. You can see the points are really starting to tally up right now with Langham sitting on 49. But what's really... Go ahead.
The chips on the table here at this point and the way the cards are being played, I mean, when it comes to Roca Corba, their river card at this point, I mean, it just has to be they're putting their chips on the table with that climb, because if I'm Roca Corba at this point, I'm looking at this point structure going, where's our climbers at the end of the day? Because, and WLC have put a lot, obviously, up front into the sprints, and Riot as well, SZ as well. I mean, they've really dominated these points so far, but at the end of the day, this Queen of the Mountain is going to be the telltale as to who is going to make it. It's three spots to the Premier Division that are being battled for out here today still. And Roca Corba currently are not involved in that conversation, but the Queen of the Mountain is going to be the spot, I think, where Casio and the rest of her team are going to show why they are named after an epic climb.
Yeah, right outside of Girona. Nathan, I think they're leaving this a little bit late. Wahoo Lacole is in extremely good shape. They are the top team based on the team time trial. And the way things are going right now, it doesn't look like they're really, well, obviously we've still got something to prove on that QOM, but they have put themselves in, they are in the driver's seat. Let's put it that way. And, not even necessarily their race to lose today, but I think that they basically have qualified for Premier League with what they've done at this point. I can't imagine how they fall down our overall table, taking the team time trial and this race and fall outside of third place. So looking really, really good, because they're going to be getting a bunch of points at the finish line out here as well. Every rider here will be scoring points at the finish as it goes 30 deep, but it's heavily weighted towards the top 5 riders out here. And that's where you will see Courtney Webb and Ashley Moon and Facio. At the end of the day, I don't see any path to the finish line without them being a part of it. We got Grossman trying to pick up another 10 points, and here she goes. Christina Grossman going flat right now. Zoe Langham trying to come over the top, but Grossman snags another one. So in full effect today is Christina Grossman of the Riot team.
Grossman doing what Grossman does across the line there, grabbing the points and putting Team Riot back, most likely toward the top of this leaderboard now at this point. But Zoe Langham, I think, still with fastest through segment with a total of 30 points so far, it looks like. So Grossman here keeping Riot on the board, but a little bit of a struggle still here coming in from the reality of this women's race and Team Riot to hold on to any top spots. Now as Grossman goes backwards and now looks forward to the climb. The men now just getting into their climbing legs now as they're about to hit, or are just hitting this climb up for the first time of the leg snapper, as we do have OTR toward the front immediately there. It does look like it's going to be Hernandez now. And notice they're now making his way to the front from DBR. Looks like Innovation also getting involved. The initial splits are going to happen. It's always the first time over the top, Dave, that tells us who's going to even make the race today.
Yeah, you know, it's a really good tell on who's got the good legs. It's hard to find your rhythm on a climb like the leg snapper. Again, it's only 400 meters long, 4 football pitches, but it's steep enough. It's a sprinter's climb, though. I mean, as we saw with Christina Grossman, if you can make the watts, you can get over it. It's not like you're climbing in that extended Alps or Pyrenees. But right now, taking a look at this group, only 6K in, Nathan, and already some riders are really having to fight at the back as they go up and over the top of the snap.
Partridge there, make his way to the front. There comes Skylab now in the white and black on the right side, and then there's a super tuck from OTR on the orange Tron bike. Here comes a drafting power up now. Not the best timing, in my opinion, when it comes to that drafting power up or when you want to be off the front. It's actually the moment that they get under about 60 kilometers per hour that you want to make that kick. But we do have a jump off the front. That's going to be WLC. Is that going to be Tepe off the front? Actually, I would not be surprised. Actually, it's going to be Zach Harner, from the R3R boys. Now give it a go, but Roy Arts now is going to come over the top of the Netherlands. Here comes Ashton. Ashton with 14 watts per kilogram. Huge jump the moment this pack slowed down, and that was the timing coming from Ashton and Skylab. I think he's going to walk away with this one, but I'm not sure it's going to be the fastest through segment. 100 meters to the line here. Veritas not going to be able to make it happen. Yobachi there for third. Hill's involved as well. Watch out for Team Arrow. They have been a force to be reckoned with and put up a little bit of a surprise in the standings coming into this, as they were the top team coming in.
You know how I knew you were a sprinter? when I saw the disc wheel on your bike. That's Christopher Ashton is a Scottish rider there as we take a look at how the men's points sorted out. And that's a good point, though, isn't it, Nathan? If you're racing with the disc wheel, obviously you have a plan here for the first 3 quarters of this race. Aero, the team out of Australia here, was our top team time trial squad. We're elite Zwifters, finishing second out there. They all raced this race a little over a week ago. You can see how the points sorted out with the BL13 watt bombs right in front of Velocio for third, fourth for Velocio, INC, Alien Resurrection in fifth. So we, again, the same points table applies here today. We'll add our points race up with our team time trial and figure out who's going to be promoted up into the Premier League. And for the men, it is 3 teams as well, if I remember my notes correctly.
Correct. 3 teams, Velocio on that bubble, as well as Innovation Alien Resurrection. I think, really, the points can go so many different ways today with that King of the Mountain at the end and the sprints. And from what we've seen so far, this course and the way that the sprinting plays out at the bottom and how much you can really use your sprinters out there today, mixed in with how you can use your climbers today, I mean, this is not a straightforward race at all. You can really spread the points out across the entirety of the team.
This is the day you really need a good director sportif, isn't it? Makes a massive difference for the team to be able to have a plan and adjust that plan as far as what you're seeing out there in the race. Our man John Brune is holding on right up near the front here. Again, you know, if you finished and qualified for the World Championships, you really showed that you were at a super high level of racing. And we know that Kevin Bouchard Hall and John Brune are in this race. I'm wondering if any of the other top 5s. I don't think Zach Nair has taken the start out here today. Using that drafting power-up, we do have the 3, the van, the feather, and the helmet. The helmet is about aerodynamics. The feather is about weight, producing that weight. Obviously making it more aerodynamic is what happens when you see that aero helmet being deployed. And then the van is the drafting power. But that was used pretty well there, Nathan. Being able to come right back up into the group. I think
oh my gosh,
shooting that.
Oliver Peck over here off the back from Skylab. This is completely unexpected. Was there a dropout? I mean, this is a huge talent. And using an aero power-up, there had to have been some sort of a technical situation. He's almost got them within sight now again. At 11 seconds, they are spread across the road. This is a rider that I would watch out for on the final climb. There's found himself off the back. Are they sending one back for him? It looks like they may have sent one rider back for him at this point that waited up for just a moment. They're still within sight, but he's really got a kick. Brought it down to 8 seconds. 7 watt per kilogram. Huge match being burned here by Oliver Packover. I think he's going to do it, Dave, but it is such a huge amount of energy expenditure just to get back on terms.
I don't know that you dig any deeper than Ollie is digging right now, trying to rejoin that group, and that is tantalizing. As you can see the peloton there. Nathan, you have to assume that you're right, that it was a technical here, as I can't imagine how that would be a biomechanical. Let's see if he can get back in. I'm certainly pulling for the rider out of the United Kingdom here. This is one of the bigger names that we've got in this race as well. So let's see what he can do. Peckover just
former ZWIFT Academy finalist, actually, Peckover. I mean, this is a no-joke rider.
No, he's got real bona fides. Absolutely has the credentials. You can see people on their companion app giving him ride-ons there, and I would certainly be doing the same. Let's throw this man some support. He's going to get back on, Nathan, as they are sitting up just a little bit.
Yeah, look at the back. Look at the back here. Ashton's here from Skylab. They've also got, it looks like Webster coming to the back. They're just going to kind of extend the back of this pack as far as they possibly create a tail that he can jump back onto and get some rest.
This is like when you see a dog who's broken through the ice, right? And people are holding arms, linking arms, reaching in to try to grab that dog, and they just got him by the collar and they pulled him back up into the group.
They don't just hand out those pro jerseys, right, Dave? I mean, they would just give those orange kids away, that's for sure.
Also, Nathan, wouldn't you say that 1 in 100 riders would be able to rejoin this race? You know, maybe that might be an exaggeration, but not many guys would be able to do what Ollie Peckover just did. Make up that kind of time. Although he caught a break. The peloton sat up a little bit. That didn't hurt, but not many people make it back.
100%. 100%. And I do think he did catch a little bit of a break with the peloton going across the road there. We did get a look there at the sprint points just a moment ago. This is the current standing situation. Nunez, Brune, it looks like a spottery there. Red Hill there as well. Ashton, who did take down the fastest across the line, first across the line, excuse me, but the fastest through segment points, they're really doing some damage at the top there as well. As we said earlier, this is anyone's race still. Look at how wide open it is across the jerseys, Dave. Pretty amazing to see. But now we're getting to the pointy end of the race there for the women, though. Let's go ahead and jump across and see how their climb's starting out.
All right, folks, buckle up, Buttercups. This is it. So Riot's going to bring them into the bottom of the climb. Courtney Webb would have the alarm bells ringing. You can see the South African here for Roca Corva is going to be an impact racer now. So, Nathan, this is going to be tremendously fun to watch. I don't know if being a part of this would be much fun because it's going to hurt, no doubt about it. We are at the bottom. Well, we're on the climb now. So let's see who's got the goods today.
It's going to be 20 riders left, 20 riders deep at this point. And Megan Rathwell, in season 2, I believe it was, demolished this climb bottom to top, and that is what she is up to again at the bottom here, immediately kicking in at 5.4 watts per kilogram, and she's going to just put everything she can into every pedal stroke from bottom to top, I believe, to just try and whittle this down as much as she possibly can before they get into that final kilometer or two, because Rathwell is not the sprinter. You know, she doesn't have the kick at the end of the day, but she definitely has the power for a solid 20-minute effort.
Yeah, she'll grind a lot of people's hopes into pace out here. Way to Canuck up, no doubt about it. You're going to see a lot of Canadian flags here on this climb, as this is going to be Ashley, Pullman, and
Look at the scene.
So, wow, this is bike racing at its very best, folks, as that gap is already starting to open up. We're going to make a selection here as only the strong survive. OSS situation. If you can beat Ashley Moolman Pasio, you are going to be feeling pretty dang chuffed about that. So we're talking about Rathwell, Pasio, Evelyn Gagnon, Zoe Langham is here. How about O'Neill? This is nice to see. So we're going to find out who the best climbers in the community are right here, right now. And Megan Rathwell is definitely going to be one of them. Nathan, take a look at the back of this group. It's getting ragged already. There's at least 6 riders that have had their ticket punched.
As you can see, Cass here slowly falling off the back there. Coalition trying to hang on. How many of the Coalition riders are going to be able to make this happen here? Roca Corba now trying to... This is struggle moment here for Roca Corba. I was not expecting this, but Ashley, the only rider toward the front now. Team SZ, Wahoo Lacole as well. Coalition trying to hang on. Riot now looking to get involved as well. WLC making their way toward the front still. Ashley holding on, but she is becoming absolutely isolated at this point. Dan?
Well, see what she's doing too is she's trying to slow the pace down a little bit so that her teammates can rejoin here. She's not putting them in more trouble. So she's clearly got her wits about her, talking about Ashley now. But this is a good moment for Megan Rathwell to try to hit the go button and say goodbye. Wahoo Lacole, Nathan, with 3 riders in this front group. They are covering all of their bases right now. Extremely talented team is Wahoo Lacole, and they don't even have one of their best climbers with them today.
Amazing effort here, though, by Rathwell, and this is what they need to do with Megan. Just put her on the front and make it as difficult as possible. Get as many of those other teams dropped off without resources. A little bit of an arrow power up there coming from the Coalition rider. That's going to be argued now. Garrett there from WLC coming across, and we are down to 9 riders total, with 2 struggling off the bat. It's going to be Denton and Cass, both from Roca Corba. They need to get back involved with those R jerseys on the back here. Real quickly, we're starting to get into some moments here with this, obviously. We're going to be right back with this as the climb's coming over the top, though, of the leg snapper in the men's race. Still a large group hanging on with this men's race, as you can see. Lots of points up for grabs at the bottom of this leg snapper. We'll get back in with them for their sprint. We'll make sure to grab a replay of that, but we cannot miss these moments out on this climb as Moolman Pasio makes her way to the front.
Well, I think she said enough is enough, and who is the one rider that's able to stay with her? That's going to be
Zoe
Zoe
Langham.
Langham, the Swiss Army knife of racers. She's been taking top sprints and is right now riding out of her skin as she hangs on to the World Champions wheel. But I think Ashley Moulin-Pasio has lit a rocket as the South African could. Well, look at this. Langham is going to keep fighting here. So Wahoo Lecole is going to make their way into the Premier League based on what I am seeing right now. Let's go ahead and, as you start looking at it, they have had such a tremendous season. They've earned everything. Is using that, maybe the least popular power-up to have at this point, but might as well use it now on this 5% grade while you're holding onto the wheel of Ashley Moulin-Pasio. Zoe Langman, Ashley Moulin-Pasio, that's your top two as they're coming up on 5K to go. 5 brutal Ks here.
I think the idea here, though, coming in from Moulin-Pasio is just, look, I have to, at this point, get 70 points. Like that's just the reality here at this point now is 70 points are up for grabs at the top here. And if I do not grab those points, we are at risk of not grabbing that Premier Division spot. That's exactly what's going on right now with Pasio. She knows it's every single moment matters to the top here because she needs fastest through segment, first across the line, and the win out here today to challenge the likes of WLC as well as the other teams that are biting at their heels at this point when it comes to this leaderboard. And Roca Corbin need to fill up the rest of those spots as well as best as they can.
They say with a leader, you should never ask your people to do something you wouldn't do yourself. And Ashley Moulin-Pasio is living that in real time right now here. As Nathan, I think you're 100% correct. Is if they make it into the Premier League, it's going to be on her shoulders right here, right now. Zoe Langham, you are a superstar. Look at this ride from Wahoo Lecole's Langham out here today. We're going to go back and look at the points. I mean, she's already collected by far the most points, and she's riding up in a top 2 spot and is certainly looking good for a silver medal at the worst out here today. This is Zoe Langham's coming out party for Wahoo Lecole in esports. Cags, and the Swedes are doing a tremendous job as well, Nathan. Actually, I have a feeling that the Swedes are going to be one of our 3 teams that gets the invite.
Zoe's got quite a sprint too. If it does come to the line, this is going to be a serious effort there from Moulin-Pasio to try and hold off the reality of Zoe Langham. But I think in the final sections of the slopes out here today, Moulin-Pasio will be able to put the pressure on. The question is it going to be enough though, Dave, when they do hit those 11, 10, 9% gradients to get rid of the reality of the major puncher that is Zoe Langham and this WLC monster effort right now. 191 beats per minute from Ashton Moulin-Pasio. Now it's going to be Zoe Langham, 188. Look at these heart rates, Dave. They are completely through the roof.
I'm really curious what Zoe Langham's in real life position is in bike racing, because clearly this is an exceptional talent that we're looking at right now. And Zoe is not only just holding on, it's just body blow after body blow being thrown by these two on this time. Look at the gradient up in the top right hand part of your screen there. You can see it's gone up to 8%. That is extremely steep. Ashley Moulin-Pasio, who races in the World Tour for the SD Works team, is one of the best climbers on planet Earth. And Zoe Langham is really, I was calling her the Swiss Army knife. There's nothing that this woman can't do. She can sprint, she can roll on the flats, and she can certainly climb.
Zoe Langham coming out of the United Kingdom, ripping Nottingham, this rider here. And if I look at the Zwift Power profile, we've got a match here, Dave. 5-0 versus 5-0. That's the 20-minute reality here from both of them. And they both can throw down 11-4 and 12-7 for 15 seconds. We're talking a perfect match almost when it comes to going to the line. This is really going to be a battle of the best on this Queen of the Mountain after party. Moulin-Pasio now goes though, says, look, I've got the endurance, I've got the World Tour legs, 6'6" all day long, South Africa at 194 beats per minute, and she breaks Langham from WLC.
And this is Ashley being Ashley. I will say that Zoe rode that locomotive far enough away now. Look at the gap that she's got back to third place. And there's no shame in that game right now. Is you're looking at, I mean, planet Earth is something like 7.5 billion people right now, Nathan. This woman stands out as the reigning world champion. That's not just in esports. When you look at her credentials, her bona fides in real life, this is one of the best climbers in the world tour. So if I'm Zoe Langham, there's absolutely no reason not only to be hanging your head, you should be holding your head high, because this has been one heck of a ride today. But this is absolutely Ashley Moman-Pasio making hay while it's in the field. This is her wheelhouse.
Langham, teammate, chasing her, 22 seconds back. So WLC with a solid position here currently. Rathwell on the chase, as you can see from Team Riot, 12 seconds back with the group here, as it's going to be 4 riders strong. Coalition with Argue holding on steady here, putting them on the map still with this climb. Great to see there, but SZ now come over the top, and will these two ladies from Team SC start to pull a little bit of 1-2 on Argue as well as Megan Rathwell if they can? I think they've been waiting for these moments here, the Swedes, as O'Neill looks to try and chase down her teammate, but I think Langham's got the distance. But Pasio here immediately on that 10-11% grading opens up a solid 28 seconds, Dave.
Yeah, well, and so this now, Nathan, if you're Ashley Moman-Pasio, I'm going to ask this is your wheelhouse. Do you back off a little bit right now, try to recharge your battery so that you can get that fastest through segment? Or there's pretty much no way that she doesn't. But do you assure that by recharging a little bit right now? Because it doesn't matter how much, it's not a stage race. It doesn't matter how much you win by, but she does want to make sure that she's got that fastest through segment, the final one there on the climb.
That is true. That is true. I think, though, just bottom to top, what do you got? Open it up as much as you possibly can. A little bit of smack talk. I love the esports world. Check this out, Dave. If Maddie was racing, she'd have given Ash a real battle we're hearing here. And Madeline Ruru comes right on in. Well, actually, Teppy comes in as well.
I would agree.
And then Maddie is here and says, yeah, straight up. Just here it is. Yeah, wish I was there. Zoe doing an amazing job cheering her teammates on. So I'm loving this, and we'll see it in PD. We'll see it in PD, Dave.
Yeah, Madeline and Ashley had a chance to do exactly this in real life. Now, at this moment, Ashley Moman-Pasio is back in Europe, in Spain. Madeline is down in South Africa racing a stage race. I think the final stage was today. So she was unable to jump in. Obviously, she's there cheering her teammates, and I think that's great. But so these two, Ashley and Madeline, went 1-2 in maybe the biggest one-day race in South Africa for women just a couple of weeks ago. So, Bren, you're 100% correct. And we'll look forward to more of those battles. One of the things I love, Nathan, is that Ashley Moman-Pasio is not only making an effort with this Roca Corba team, but she is really elevating South African cycling, trying to get opportunities in place for more women. So she's not one of those people that once she passes through the door, closes it behind her, trying to hold off other talented riders. She's welcoming to the best women in the world, and I think that speaks a lot about her character. She is a class act and a world champion in both spirit and in jersey. So Moman-Pasio, I can't imagine a world where she comes back today, Nathan. She's on a great ride. Less than 2K to go to the finish here. having an impact like that in a field like this is exceptional. That's Kasper Kaysen, Dan Bertelsen, Lasse Hansen, a big talent on that team. Martin Anhoy, Nikolai Hebsgaard, and Tim Hansen making up that DVR team. We're back in with Ashley Momentpasio. Nathan, she's coming up on 1K to go. You mentioned that the pitch goes up to 11%. It's really steep right here at 8%, but obviously she's found her rhythm out here. I see a few more ride-ons coming in. If you get on your companion app, you can follow Zoe Langham and give her some ride-ons. I'm sure she would appreciate it. Help build some more morale. Let them rain. Make it rain. I think the Swedes. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that they're going to get that promotion. They're having a great ride here. They picked up a lot of intermediate points. They're in good position. This is a great day for the Swedish Swifting team. Ekstrom's a major talent. Hagstrom is right there with her. So that 1-2 punch out of Sweden having an impact out here. Back to the front. 1K to go. They would have, or Ashley would have just seen the red kite.
Apologies on that, everybody. No sound for Nathan for just a second there. Nathan was trying to do a little bit too much producing. As Mallard here now, Cassidy, Iwa as well. In the men's race across on the other side, they're coming over the top of the leg snapper. We're still in with Momentpasio though for this 1K to go. She's about to level out in just a moment for the flatter section. She's gotten rid of the sprinter that is Zoe Langham. Zoe into those final kilometer. I'm not sure she's going to pull back much time. But I do believe Momentpasio has done what she needs to do for the team out here today to collect as many points as possible.
Is it enough, Nathan? I mean, I'm just going to go ahead. I said worst case, best case scenario. I'm going to assume that she's going to take the 70. If not, it'll be something close to that. Are the three teams going to be Wahoo Lacole, Roker Korba, and the Swedes? I think that's my guess right now, but we're going to have to see what Coalition can do. As Amanda argued, the Canadian is absolutely looking to make her mark. The Riot team still has Rathwell and Cameron here. So it's going to be an interesting conversation by the time this one is done and dusted. We're back in with Ashley now. I love this climb as we have left Innsbruck and are well up onto the QOM right now. She's only got about 15 meters of climbing left, as you can see. I love all the data that we get in the world of Zwift here. 646 meters of climbing are behind her, and it's really not much more than 10 meters of climbing left. So she's got this one exactly where she wants it. Hit a bullseye out here today, did the South African, our reigning world champion. Command performance from Ashley Momentpasio here today. Nathan, there is so much going on behind her. It's absolutely bananas.
4.2 watts per kilogram. As you can see, she makes it to the line here, and this is going to be the win coming from our reigning world champion. And obviously, we can see why she has those stripes, the rainbow stripes here across that jersey. 100 meters is all she has left to go. And this is going to be punching a ticket, most likely for Roka Korba. Lots of points, though, up for grabs underneath as they make their way to the line, the rest of the women out here today. So still at risk. WLC are really going to do a great job here, it looks like. And I think going to be the #1 team at the end of the day for these playoffs.
Zoe Langham has arrived in the upper echelon of racing, no doubt about it. There's someone throwing her a ride on. I love to see it. Zoe, you made your mark today. As a matter of fact, Nathan, I want to put a pin in it. Let's see who has more points as an individual out here today as Wahoo Lacole. You know what? Welcome to the Premier League. If they choose to accept their invitation, Nathan, they're untouchable. Like Elliot Ness, they are going to be one of our top 3 teams. They go 2nd and 3rd out here today, and with the points they collected earlier in the race, there is no path for me to imagine they don't end up in the top 3. Wahoo Lacole, congratulations on a great ride. Now, will the Swedes be another team that makes it up into the Premier League. They certainly deserve it, all the work that they've done. And I'm starting to think, though, that some of these teams already have representation up in the Premier League. It's a bountiful amount of quality racers that they've got in Sweden, as Angstrom's going to come through and pick up 4th place out here today.
Coalition might be a conversation here now as Argue comes across the line. Rathwell from Riot as well. It does
So
look
Cornelia,
like
then
right
Amanda.
on her wheel. Yeah.
So another
the question
rope-
is that's a great question though. Is who's going to accept as well? You know, there is that question whether or not Riot want to be in Premier Division. That is going to be a question. You know, and Coalition might be able to sneak their way in here as well.
Well, you know who Madeline LaRue's got to be ecstatic to see that she misses the race and her teammates step it up. What a ride today by Wahoo Lacole. Sure, Ashton Pasio wins the race for Roca Corva, but Wahoo Lacole, I believe this will be their 4th rider in the top 10, adding on to Zoe Langham's phenomenal efforts down the hill, down the mountain in Innsbruck here. Wahoo Lacole just pouring it on. They absolutely will be a force up in the Premier League. Claire Cameron now trying to chase back a group of 3, it looks like. Got riders all over the shop right now, as this is going to be the Riot rider Cameron actually coming into the final 100 meter or 200 meters.
The men just finishing up their 3rd lap and about to come down to their climb. Let's take a look real quickly here as Claire Clanton finishes up for a top 10 ride. Denton on her wheel. Actually, let's make sure to hit this sprint for a top 10. Actually, there's a little bit of a battle here going on between a few of the riders right behind. As we do have, it looks like Cass and a few others about to make their way through. Actually, not quite grab that. Maybe jump across to the B category, as I think we do have a few of the B category riders still making their way up over the top. Crush Pod, WLC, C categories out here still as well, so we'll definitely hit them up for their climb. Let's head across over to the men's race again. This was the sprint that just opened up a few moments ago as Jay Frank from Velocio led things out. It is going to be Clues Proctor, I think, who does come over the top with teammate from Arrow. Now, flying to the line, I think Partridge just gets this. Followed closely by Jay Frank there from Team Arrow. That was the replay for the 3rd sprint. We'll take a look at where the point situation lands for the men, and we'll see how they are starting their climb and how many are left intact after the 3 rounds of the Innsbruck ring.
Yeah, one of the best teams as far as esprit de corps, I think is the term, would be that Velocio squad that you see in yellow. That's Jason Frank having an impact in the race. Take a look at the size of this group here, Nathan, this deep into the races. They're not that far from hitting the bottom steps of the climb to the finish line here. Pretty good sized group, though, when you look at it, because they now have gone over the leg snapper 3 times.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that 100%, that this is a very large group actually after being over the top there. We still have 50 plus riders hitting the bottom of this climb, so it's going to be a no joke effort here, it looks like. Brune still hanging tough, it looks like. This is our live cam rider coming in. And
John
looks like
Brune.
they have not been able to get rid of the man Brune here at this point, so good on him for hanging tough. See how his climbing legs are doing for him today as they do take that initial 8-9% up and out of the saddle now, as you can see. Yeah, he does look fairly comfortable. Steady breathing. A little bit of concentration on the face now, 5.0 watts per kilogram. Again, we said he was a solid sprinter, obviously, from the Continentals. We'll see what he can do when the road heads upward.
He's channeling his inner Zoe Langham, actually. Be effective on in all situations out here. the great term, I think, is that Swiss Army knife type racer, someone who can basically do it all at a very, very high level. So they start to lift the pace here, Nathan. This is where we separate the wheat from the chaff, no doubt about it. The riders who made that selection to be a part, or the decision to be a part of the sprinting and picking up points early. There's Tucker Wetmore, another one of the talented riders on that Velocio team. Does Velocio put the whole team into? Yeah, it looks like they have, Nathan. I think almost, if not all of the guys on Velocio, as there's Charlie McCarthy as well. This team's got some real depth, and they're going to look to have make an impact. Now, we looked at the points after the team time trial last week for the men. Velocio is a team that needs to have a good day today. Although, again, I wouldn't be too surprised. Yeah, you can see effectively tied for that last spot, right on the bubble there with the Watt bombs from BL13. To be honest, Nathan, no one is safe, and no one has a guarantee, and really, no one is completely out of it right now either. This table could change quite a bit after we score this second of 2 races to qualify our top 3 teams for the ZRL, the Premier League, the big league.
To the front, it looks like it's going to be Halonen. Noah Balak is there as well. Foods right now, taking over at the front. This is going to get interesting, Dave, because the TTT is not going to represent what's going to happen here. I don't think at all.
No, we could see a lot of changes. And look at this. They have lit the rocket. Now here come the Italians. Fumagalli is one of the riders. And so they are going to look to destroy this race. So Nathan, if any team can put 3 riders in the top 10 here, that's obviously an incredible sign. I don't know if anyone can do that, to tell you the truth, with this much talent spread out amongst all of these squads, as they are now down to, let's call it 6K of climbing here at an average of 5%. It gets as steep as 11%. This will be an absolute Donnybrook. There's Zach Harner going red.
Harner continues to do what he's been doing all day long, which is just put the pressure on from this R3R team now. Ben Hill now, though, from Arrow on the push, and he's going to have to be, because Arrow came in the top squad. They could quickly lose that spot here. They have been really gunning for it, Dave. If there's a team that's been after this for season after season, it's Team Arrow. What can they pull off here? Now, Kevin Bouchard now making his way to the front. I've raced KBH on this course, and halfway through, suddenly just some, I don't know, nitrous oxide, boom! Like it was just, the lights went out for me, and KBH walked away with like a minute at least on me about halfway through this climb. We'll see what he can pull off here, but I mean, it was just left hook to the face, and I was on the ground. And we'll see what he does here on this second half.
That reminds me of the Pat Travers song, Boom, Boom, Out Go the Lights, right? And certainly that's what, like, riders like Ben Hill, you can see Hill moving up. He's one of the Arrow riders. As well, again, taking some inventory here in this front group. They are definitely making a selection right in front of our eyes. There's O'Brien moving up, another one of the so Arrow is loving this right now, Nathan. So they were our top team in the team time trial, and they are not looking like they're missing a step out here right now. So let's see if they can hold on to one of those 3 coveted spots. It's all on the line. There he is, KBH in full effect. Here comes Kevin Bouchard Hall racing out of Vermont. This is a course that suits him, and again, he's on great form right now. He was a top 5 on a course that didn't necessarily play right into his talents, which just tells me that he has got a lot of heart. So let's see what we've got now. Look how many riders are getting tailed out the back of this group as it starts to go up to nearly, or just hit 10%. Wow, it is steep, it is brutal, and there are a lot of gladiators still in this group, Nathan.
Taking a look here, our man Brune doing his job out there today for the dirt team there. 22 points at 4th place right now. Frank there as well at 24. But now as the road heads up, a lot of these names starting to disappear very quickly, Dave. B Hill is the only one I think that we're seeing that's really still involved here at the front end of the race. Oh, and here comes Mark O'Brien. You want to talk about a rider who can just set it at a pace and go? 6.8, 7.1. We've seen it from this. We've seen this from him over and over again throughout this season. Jumps right onto the wheel of Noah Block here now. Mark O'Brien, 153 beats per minute and a steady 5 watts per kilogram. He beats so low. This is going to be a battle to the top. There's still such a huge group here at 1% gradient, Dave. So many tactics can be played.
I am such a huge fan of Kate Bates, and I can almost hear Nathan from down under an Aussie, 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 oi, 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 going as the Australians now, they're racing out of the APAC, which is a division that we don't see all that much up here in North America, as they're racing basically, what time do you do those races? 3 o'clock in the morning in Wisconsin, Nathan, when you're producing, or actually working with Anna Russell on those. I mean, it's definitely, we don't know these guys here in North America as well as obviously we should, as O'Brien, Hill, and company are clearly on a great day. This just went absolutely ballistic out here. Nathan, this is what bike racing is all about, is they're inside of 4K to the finish now, but it's a steep 4K here in Innsbruck.
3 teams make it, Dave. Only 3 teams. This is the standing. Wes Wolfpack now. We do see Noah Bal continuing to do what he's been doing. BL13 still involved, I think, with 1, maybe 2 riders. Not sure they're going to hold on to that spot as Velocio now makes their way also toward the front. KBH is still hanging on, I believe, here. Food Trade involved. Italy is here. They do. Yeah. They really do. And Arrow are taking over, Dave. Completely taking over this front pack. 3 from Arrow still involved. R3 all were 3 as well. They are upsetting everything when it came to the plans of the other teams. It looks like Italy there with Fumagalli as well. Now making their way to the front. So many points.
I have to say, World Elite Zwifters, Wolfpack looking pretty strong as well. I think this real battle's going to be for the final spot here, Nathan. And there's just not enough other yellow Velocio jerseys right now. We're going to see things will change a little bit, but KBH has absolutely got his fingers crossed that a teammate's going to come up and join them, because you can see that the other yellow jersey here is going to be BL13. That's going to be the real battle out here, in my estimation. Is they're not the only teams with a shot at this point. Oh, this is going to be good. I can see the INC riders starting to move up here. The innovation riders and they are in the hunt now. Wow, this is going to be amazing.
No about has just went.
Arrow's so good. I honestly think Nathan, Arrow is not really in the conversation of whether they're going to be able to do it or not. They're doing it.
Yeah, they have complete control, it seems like, at this point of this race. Currently, they're covering moves. They aren't sending anybody off the front they don't need to. I think Benny Hill there is just waiting, holding off, waiting for that sprint to the line there, allowing Mark O'Brien to do his thing, follow Balk off the front here at this point. Veritas there as well from Bike Zone Veritas out of Portugal. Now, that's going to be a question there. What can they pull off on the day? They've been super involved throughout the season, but I'm not sure. They're not really in the conversation, though, when it comes to the team standings. Maybe they're going to have a good day, though, today for a win, as I believe Magales, he does have a solid climb still. Kevin Richard Hall now making his way to the front. Again, it looks like 6 watts per kilogram as he looks to try and cover this, because I think KBH wants to win right now out here today. I think he knows he has to do that to keep them in the conversation.
That's an excellent point, Nathan, and I completely agree. It's like, look, sometimes just like Ashley Moll and Pasio, sometimes it comes down to you either do or you don't, and you can't look around anymore. You're 100% correct in that. KBH really needs to win this race at Velocio. And I have a feeling, Nathan, they would be one of the teams that they're here racing for pride, and it's been a long season. ZRL for our Premier League is 6 races, but for these riders, this is their 10th consecutive week of racing, and they're looking to make a point. They want to be the top team in the world. They might not necessarily be looking to get that promotion into the Premier League. So racing for the 4th spot, the 5th spot, you never know if a team is going to decline. Like, I think Bryant maybe would decline if they were offered that opportunity for various valid reasons. But right now, Mark O'Brien is looking to make a statement, no doubt about it in my mind, as winning the race outright isn't necessary for their goals, but it certainly would be a cherry on top of the sundae.
Same section that we saw the gap open up with Ashton moving Pasio. It's happening again here as it kicked into 10% gradient. O'Brien and Balch went to the front there, smashed that 10% gradient and opened up the speed dial. And Loudon, LaForestier, Coolias here, Fumagalli, none of them able to respond. It looks like it's a race for third place now at this point with that chase group. And look at how big this chase group actually is, Dave. I mean, we've got, I think there's like 20 riders here that have come together.
Start looking for a team that has more than 2 riders in this group. So we mentioned Aero. They are covered here as Ben Hill. Ben Hill is still in this group, isn't he? I'm looking to make sure. His teammate Mark up the road, right? So no second yellow jersey for Velocio. There's Ben Hill right in the middle of the group, just sitting on the chase as one would. Now does BL13, that's the Bontrager, the B on the back of their jersey. They only have 1 rider here as well, Nathan. So I have a feeling this is classic ZRL. It's going to be the 22nd, the 28th placed riders that might end up determining how this ends up sorting.
That's true, when there's so many riders, so many points up for grabs. So this is far from over after we get our first.
We won't know. Yeah, exactly, Nathan. We won't know until our top 30 riders have come across the line for sure what's going to happen out here. Michael Gamps, Danish rider. Now, he's sitting in this group and is a big talent. Plenty of talent still in this group, but again, you need someone on your team riding shotgun with you here to be looking for any kind of distinct advantage, and I don't see that happening. Every team looks like they've got 1 rider up into that chase group.
Cassidy here, 11 seconds back, no man's land, tough spot to be.
Oh boy.
Also,
okay, so
Jet, 3 seconds back, 16th place here. Every place is going to matter here for Velocio with these riders back here, David.
So basically, Dan Cassidy, the Velocio rider, is in a weird way connected to that group. He's the last place rider in that group, if you see what I'm saying. So almost he gives Velocio a little bit of a heads up in my mind as far as the points tally and what they're looking for to be one of the top 3 teams. We're back in with KBH, Kevin Bouchard Hall. Is he attacked out of the group? No, he's now hanging on. All right. Well, come on, Kevin. Here we go. That group, I think he's going to be able to rejoin here. But is he going back to help Dan?
I'd be surprised. It's too much of a risk at 12 seconds. That's a huge gap to try. I mean, maybe he thought
that would be terrible tactic. No, yeah, that would be bad tactic. Yeah, because you want to protect the position you've got in this group. And no, he's not going back to help Dan. So, answering my own dumb question.
And as they saw KBH head to the back, it does look like they're starting to ramp things up toward the front here. Is that a Fuji rider actually on the Cervelo S5?
It is.
Not it is. Climbing machine, that's for sure. So good on him for hanging on to this. It does look like Gamps is going to take over for BL13. And this is the move they need to make, BL13. They want to be in the conversation at the end of the day for that Premier Division. Gamps needs to win out of this group, I think.
40 points for the first rider over the line. That's up the road right now, but it's so significant to be 3rd, 4th, or 5th here versus 8th, 9th, and 10th when you look at the points. As it should be, it's stacked heavily towards the top riders.
Aero, Wes, Wolfpack, that discussion may be over with the reality of what is up the road, but BL13 and Velocio, there's still a conversation to be had there. As you do see Hill playing so smart. Look at what he's doing here. Right to the wheel of BL13. You're not going anywhere. I'm going to stick right here and make sure that I cover any points you're going to try and grab. 3 riders off the front.
Australia.
4 riders now off the front, actually, of that main group. And now the battle's really starting to begin. Gamps, he's got to make it happen for the BL13 team, though, in my opinion, right now.
This is a command performance from the Aero team. They really are, Nathan, proving that they are the best out of the community. With the way they're riding right now, it's almost like watching a cat playing with a mouse in the corner of the church. They absolutely have their bases covered. We don't have that much more climbing left, and we really don't have that many more meters of racing left because we're inside of 1K to go. These are our 2 leaders that we're jumping back in with. This is going to be epic. A 2-man road on it. It looks like we are. I was saying, Nathan, I thought our winner would be alone. Well, not quite alone. It's a 2-rider group going to the line here after an unbelievably fun day of racing to watch. This is it, folks. The last kilometer of racing to determine what 3 teams get the promotion up into the ZRL Premier League for Season 2 of 21-22 coming up in early January. Right here, right now, Nathan. I have a feeling that Arrow is looking to put an exclamation point at the end of today.
Looks like Bouch, I think, is going to be able to take this down. Nora Bouch has a solid sprinter. Mark O'Brien, definitely just he's got a really, really high-end engine that can just go for a long, long period of time. But when it comes to the line here, I believe Noah's really going to have the kick. 300 meters to go here. I think Mark O'Brien's going to have to time something absolutely perfect.
I'm going to take Mark.
Take this man.
All right. Try to even things up. I'm going to take the Arrow rider mark. There's the arch. Here we go. We are locked and loaded. This goes by very, very quickly. I don't think that's a real 300 meters, as you see how quickly they're going to get through this now. Nathan, your man is hit out. Noah, yeah, got it, Nathan. So Noah is going to, well, never over till it's over, but it looks like with that Arrow power up there, Noah Balk is going to take the win. Congratulations, Noah. That's a phenomenal ride against an absolutely stacked field. We're looking at now for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and of course,
the Italian rider Fumagalli just walks away with this one. Harner made some moves earlier.
3rd,
that's going to
4th
be
for Zach Harner.
4th for Zach Harner here. We're just rolling across the line, one after another. Loudon then across the line. Looks like Megales as well. Hebs Schaefer here. I mean, it's just one after another here, taking down these top 10 spots. As let's see here, Kevin Bouchard Hall not in the conversation even for a top 10 actually. So it looks like things really upset there for Velocio. And I'm getting the feeling that BL13 may have done it because of that. They were out of the conversation a little bit more because of what we saw happen with
This
that
is where, with Dan Cassidy coming to now.
True, there's a lot of points there. That's right.
Yeah, I'm going to hesitate a little on that. It's going to be interesting. I mean, you know, when you talk about being bold, I really don't know. I don't want to make a guess in that situation.
As many BL13 that they can squeeze into this top 30 is really going to matter.
That right there really counters the points that Cassidy picked up, right? So just kind of keep watching here. Yeah.
It really depends on how high Gibbs finished at the end there. I thought he was going for a 3rd, but Harner and Fumagalli just put the wrench in that.
Yeah, I think Camps was 6th, is my guess. We'll have a chance.
Velocio sneaking in with a 29th place. That might be the point right there, Dave. That could be the deciding point.
Can you imagine
between them?
If it is 1 point, there it was, right there. Good effort.
It is one. That was it. That was it. Coming in from
wow,
Jay Frank there, the Velocio rider. So we'll see what ended up happening there.
That was fantastic. I tell you, it shows you how much it means to these riders. This course really separates the wheat from the chaff as well. You don't see many finishes like that. So I love the summit finishes that we have in the ZRL. Always a lot of fun. I know there's going to be horses for courses, as we say. Not every rider loves this, but it's good to give the climbers, the pure climbers. And actually today, not even really a pure climbers course. You had to get to that point. So, wow, fantastic. I know that they're hard at work tallying all of the points right now. You can always go to WTRL to see how things scored. But Nathan, this wraps up what was a phenomenal season for our community.
Let's see if we can have a conversation with John Brune, actually. John, can you hear me? I'm just going to double check. Got me? He may not. We'll double check here and see if he does. And if he does, we'll be able to jump in with him. John, you there from Mr. Eat Dirt Access?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you, John. So what a race out there today. What was the plan out there today as you made your way around the Innsbruck Ring? Looks like you grabbed a ton of points for the Eat Dirt Access team.
Yeah, I mean, we knew this was going to be a tough race. We were already down a couple guys. We knew that we had a couple guys that were good at sprinting, so tell the sprinters to go for it. The guys that can climb, told them to go for it too. So we're just out there to have fun. All these guys out here are so strong, so good. Just to be out here with them is such an honor to race alongside these guys. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, well, a pretty amazing job out there being a sprinter. We saw you take down a ton of points, John. And also, I want to just give for those that don't know, John qualifying the Continental qualifiers for World Championships for Team USA, third place. Want to speak to that just a little bit, as how expected was that, and what a big deal that most likely is, I would think, here for the Bruin household.
Oh my goodness.